Hey guys, Clumsy here. Welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. I am checking out a different mod today. We're not going to do so much flying, but we'll be exploring a specific GPS system. It's called the GTN 750. You guys might have heard of it. It's getting a lot of traction recently, and it's great that it's now in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's currently free. Yeah, there's a basic and a premium version, but both of them are free for the moment because it's still in beta, still in testing. Later on, I think the premium will become subscription based, but the basic will remain free of charge. Anyway, let's go and check out what it can do for now. And I'm currently in the Just Flight Piper Arrow 3. And it has a built-in integration for this GPS system. You can see GTN 750. It even has its own bezel. It's amazing. By default, I think the GTN 750 is compatible with the G1000 default planes as well. But I'll leave a link in the video description so you guys can check it out. Because there are specific instructions there how to install, which planes are compatible with, how to make it compatible with each of those planes. Because there are some specific instructions for them. Right, so here we are. Let's turn off that tablet. That should be good enough. And let's focus here. All right, what can we do here? Well, I've been fiddling around with this a bit. And it's a pretty cool app, actually. It's a pretty cool GPS system. It's very intuitive. It's touchscreen. So gone are the days when you have to scroll using buttons. Here it's just like an iPad, a tablet, where you just scroll around. And you can zoom out, zoom in. Pretty basic stuff, but what I really like is in addition to panning like this, you can actually go anywhere you want. Like for example, you want to go to a specific airport, let's say this one, Echo Golf Yankee Romeo. You can just click it and then you can get more info on it. Balintore, United Kingdom, 60-foot elevation, runways 2406, 1781 foot in length. Okay, no lighting. Concrete though, then you can get other kinds of information in here. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. No procedures though, very small airstrip. But let's say for example you're airborne and suddenly your engines failed or you just want to go direct somewhere. Just click here and then press the direct button. In other planes, I'm sure there is an equivalent for this, a direct button there. Here where my mouse is, and then it will automatically detect which airport you clicked or which waypoint you clicked, and then from there you can go direct. So it's super intuitive. You don't even need to read the manual to just say point here and then I want to go there direct. Very nice. I like that feature. But if you want a more traditional, and those are all the options. If you want a more traditional flight planning system, then it's there. You can go, I think you can just press back all the way until you go home. Although here in the Piper Arrow, you get a home button actually to go here immediately. Very handy. Yeah, you can go and pick a flight plan. So you can pick, for example, let's reset this. Set the origin. Currently we are in Inverness, Echo Golf Papa Echo, Inverness. And then set your destination. Let's say, for example, in our case, that's Echo Golf India Mike. Farm Airstrip. Yeah, I'm currently doing the UK tour in Sky Park. UK tour part 2. So I'm in Scotland. And then let's say you want to add an en route waypoint. You can either click this one or say insert before. I think either way works. So it's pretty flexible that way. Let's pass by Echo Golf Yankee Quebec. Akshin Airstrip, however you read that. Okay, there you go. So now we have a working flight plan. And then you can scroll, you can check how that looks. Yeah, it's actually going around that way. It's a bit impractical, but that's the way we set it up. And then you can notice we also have a track up in here. You can have several options, track up or north up, depending on your preference. I'm a track up kind of guy. You can reduce the details. And one thing I want to highlight is just that smoothness, right? It's just like an iPad It's not, usually I find that the GPS systems on board planes are very, how do you say, old school. Like the frame rate is very low, it's clunky, it's not very intuitive, but this one is just like an iPad on your plane. And that's saying a lot given the current selections that we've had before. So very intuitive. You can change the fields here. Desired track, you can get the winds, or you can get the, I think there is a current track in here. I think by default that's the one it has. Waypoint, desired track, ground magnetic track. Yeah, I think that's the default one. But if you want to have a different field, for me it's the wind speed and direction, which is very useful. So you can use that as well. And then here you have a nice view of your flight plan. You can click it to go there. Yeah, it's very intuitive. Just make sure, one tip, if you're using the GPS here, make sure you press the CDI so you are in GPS mode. And in this plane at least, the HSI also reflects that. So that will reflect accordingly. You can see that changes there. So no VLOC, no nav tune, but if I switch to GPS, that warning goes away. Same here, I think. Yeah, there. Very nice. What I like also about this is you can actually, let's go direct here. Let's change it. Direct. There you go. It's ruin our flight plan. There is actually an OBS mode. So if you go to OBS mode, you can see the HSI going different, adjusting based on where we are and how we set our OBS. It actually sets any waypoint, any airport or waypoint, any VOR, any nav aid basically, to become a VOR kind of thing. So you can approach that specific nav aid at any angle, and you can see the OBS at an angle here. So if you want to approach it at 180 degrees, for example, so that can work like so. Let's make it north up so it makes more sense, right? So if we go OBS mode, 180 degrees, so you'll be approaching it southbound, so you'll have to intercept it that angle. And it's going to be very useful for, especially for airports which don't have procedures. So let's say, for example, this one. Say the runway is 2103 and we want to land at runway 21. So we can set, once this is the next waypoint, we can just set, okay, OBS 21, right? So let's set that as 21. There you go. 210. And now we know if we follow the CDI, if we follow the HSI here, then we know that when we're lined up, we follow that, we will be lined up perfectly on the runway on final. So even if you don't have an approach, you have an idea of which angle you should be approaching the airport at. And I find that very, very useful, especially for these small airstrips which are so hard to see visually and don't have their own procedures. So yeah, that's a very nice recommendation from my end. And yeah, the OBS feature is a very basic feature in almost all GPS systems. But for some reason in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I don't think it has been implemented anywhere else. I think this is the first time I've seen that implemented. So that's a very welcome feature, right? We have terrain. Yeah, so you can see, not only that, you can actually go to the map, and that's an option as well. And when you are in the Scottish Highlands like this, it's going to be very useful. Well, right now everything is red because we're on ground. But as you gain altitude, you'll see those colors changing to indicate where you would be in trouble if you go to that area at that current altitude. Next ride is also here, and since we have bad weather, it's basically, yeah, right now that's a Microsoft Flight Simulator limitation. It's a cloud detector rather than what it really should be. Yeah, and then you can modify that accordingly. Remove the traffic, the airports. There is also a traffic window here, so you can actually see other aircrafts going, and you'll see their current altitude in relation to yours, how close or how far they are. Although I think currently this is limited to only the AI planes, live traffic or AI generated planes, but not multiplayer real people. I don't think that detects that. And I haven't really tested it. I'm not sure. You might need a specific option for it, a specific plugin to install, a separate one. But yeah, take a look at the instructions. It's specified there. I haven't been too inclined to check that anyway because I have traffic off for the most part. Okay, let's remove that. Looks good. Now let's go back to track up. I really like track up. What else? So many more things. You have the procedures, of course, similar to how we've seen it in the G1000, G3000, but this has been fine-tuned to work around, I think, some of the glaring issues in the Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator limited navigation systems. You know, that U-turn bug. I think this one includes a workaround to circumvent that by default, so don't have that problem. Okay, Waypoint Info, you can look for specific waypoints. I think those are the basic features. So even if you only get the free version, you get all of that, what I mentioned. And of course, yes, you have the proper frequency tuning here. Very easy to use, touchscreen and everything. Transfer, or click that to transfer. You can even monitor a second comm frequency for ATIS, for example. Change the mic to the second one, things like that. Change the nav. Everything is super intuitive, and if you go transponder, you can switch to mode Charlie or altitude reporting, and then if the controller asks you to ident, then you go ident, like there. Very, very intuitive. You can also change the frequency using I think that's a comm volume. I haven't tested if that works, but yeah, you can change the frequency this way as well. But I'm not sure why you would when you can press it. I guess when it's turbulent, when turbulence is high and it's shaking all over and it's hard to press buttons, then it might be easier to use the knob, at least in the real world. In here, I guess not. But yeah, those are the free stuff. So even with the free stuff, it already is a very powerful tool, and I love flying with this, with the Piper Arrow. Just makes it feel like one of those real-life YouTubers who upgrade their avionics panel. It's a perfect combination of classic and modern feel. I believe you can also change the brightness in here. Yeah, if it's something like this. Cool. What else? So I think those are mainly what you can have in a basic version. If you're willing to pay, or right now it's still free as I mentioned in the beginning of the video. If you are interested in the premium version, you can try it out. Still in beta, so it's still free. It's an add-on, so you still need the basic, but you also need the premium as an add-on. Right? And then there are specific steps how to activate that. I think you'll have to go like go to setup, license. Hopefully that doesn't get me in trouble. Probably not, because that's linked to my account or something. But yeah, it's free right now. You can get the license for free, and then it will allow you to unlock the premium features. Just go to the instructions. I'll leave a link in the video description how that works. But you have to type the license ID one by one. So it's a few minutes of your time, but it's just one time. You don't need to repeat that. Okay. And once you have the premium version, you have different settings that you can do. One is like the meter. You have like a token to actually get weather information through here. You'll need to subscribe to a certain AVWX online service. You need to register there. See, there's an instruction here. More detailed instructions are in the document that I'll link. But then once you've done that, once you've entered that very long license ID, and it's free, so no need to register. You need to register, but it's a free service or casual users like us, you can go and check the weather. For example, our flight plan, right? We're coming from Inverness, so we're here. Want Waypoint Info. And if you want to get the weather here, you can either type it or just get weather data. You'll see 1012. So currently the weather we have 6.2 statute miles, 8 degrees Celsius, QNH 1012, broken layer at 500, overcast 1000. Yeah, it sure looks like it. That looks pretty accurate to me. Wind at 16 knots. I'm not sure what that northeast. Northeast. I see. Yeah, makes sense. So that one is part of the premium feature if you want to get weather data here. And if you're flying in VRs, especially, you don't want extra screens, then you want everything in here, then that's perfect. Speaking of everything in here, recently there has been an addition. You see here, view charts. Yep, that is Navigraph chart integration. So if you have a Navigraph subscription, you can go there. Let's go there first. System, setup. I think it's oh, where was it? No, not that one. I can't remember, but there is it's in the instructions. Just look at the link again, because I am getting lost with all this different setup. Oh, charts, this one, yeah. So you basically have to connect your Navigraph subscription here. So a browser will open. Actually, no, a QR code will appear here, and you'll have to use your mobile phone to read that QR code and log into Navigraph from there. But once you've done that, it'll say connected here. And then you can have an option. So you can either go to charts here and pick whichever airport you want. Or if it's part of your flight plan, even easier, you can go click that Waypoint Info in charts. And from there, you can pick which one. So which kind, it's an info, approach, departure, arrival. So for us, it's the info airport. You see? Voila. And with the recent update, I think this update was like yesterday or 2 days ago, you can go full split end because of the nice touchscreen feature. You can actually scroll very, very easily and smoothly. And that's where we are currently, our current position in the... So as I'm taxiing here, I can actually zoom in even from this angle and see where I am, where I'm supposed to turn. Very useful stuff. I'm sure I'll be using that, especially during these times where we have very bad weather. I'm sure if, for example, doing an approach here, let's pick one. ILS runway 05, initial approach. Let's see how that looks. There we are. Okay, so that's the approach into the airport. And then once we're done with that, let's look at the final approach. That probably is the one with the final approach fix and everything. There you go. Yeah, so here you can see the minimums and all the things that you would see in a chart. You would need a Navigraph subscription for this. That's a paid service. But yeah, awesome integration in here. And yes, you get the VOR. So let's try that 109.2. Transfer, so that becomes the active. If I change the CDI here, that should get detected accordingly, I think. So if I go to the map, change the CDI, there you go. So now we are actually tuning into the Inverness VOR. And you can set the course legs. So there it is. Something along those lines. Yeah, pretty cool stuff, right? So yeah, I've been flying with this GTN 750 for a few days with this plane. Really loving it. I think even the helicopter, the Airbus H135, has a built-in integration for the GTN 750. So I'm going to be trying that out as well. And as I mentioned, most of the G1000 default planes, the Cessna 172, the Diamond planes, I think they have integration as well. Just look at the description. Yeah, anyway. I think we actually ran out of battery here. Yeah. Can we recharge? Okay, it does have a bit of charge now. Yeah. Okay. As you see here, GTN 750 and then a premium extension because that is an add-on. Cool. Do we still have our flight plan? Oh, cool. So even if we close it, it doesn't disappear. That's good. So the existing flight plan that you set, even if you turn off the avionics and on again, it's still there. Very nice. Cool. So yes, I think that should be enough for now. Oh, no. Then one more thing. Premium version has even a VCalc feature, like a VNav kind of thing. I think it's in the, where was it? Utilities? Yeah, VNav for now, and maybe more in the future. We're not sure what else will get added. But you can say, for example, your target altitude, right? And how steep your descent will be. And then you want to go to a specific airport, for example, Echo Golf Juliet Whiskey. That's going to get from your existing flight plan, I believe. And then you have an offset, so 1 nautical mile before or after, 1 nautical mile before this waypoint, I want to be at 3,000 feet. That's how this reads. And I want to be descending at a rate of 500 feet per minute. And so when you have all these, you will get a message. For example, when you're in the map screen like this, you'll get a message. And then once you click that, it will say that, descent is starting or something along those lines. And then if you go to the utilities, it will say here exactly the VS required or when you should start your descent and what the VS required is to meet this particular target. But yeah, very useful stuff, especially if you're doing longer flights when you're higher up and you want some bit of calculation help there with the descent. That helps a ton. Yeah, especially with a plane like this where you fly mostly in manual. You barely have any autopilot in here, so you need all the help you can get. But yes, looking forward to flying with this in the near future. But now with the batteries gone, I think it's time to call it an episode. Hope you guys enjoyed that quick, well, not so quick, goodness, time flies when you're having fun, showcase of this mod. Let me know what your experience is on this. I know a lot of people have been enjoying it. You guys have been the one who recommended it to me. But yeah, let me know your experience, and looking forward to your comments. Any tips, any things I missed, let me know, and let's crowdsource the information. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Clumsy flying, guys, and catch you in the next flight. Bye-bye.